Okay, so a couple housekeeping things before we get started with this particular video. So remember how I said I want to talk about all of the Trails games and just kind of individually give them like a base review and like this is my score out of 15. And, excuse me, how I wanted to do them in order. So apparently the in order part was a lie. Because yesterday I did like a lot of my writing for the cruise video. I was like, I want to go and start my Trails reviews. And instead of really wanting to talk about Sky 1, which, one of my favorite games, I absolutely love it, I felt that the game I want to talk about right now is Trails to Azure, which is actually the 5th game in the series. So that is the video, that's the first one we're going to be talking about. I know I kind of talked about Curl a bit, but I didn't really score it. But heck, I might do that one next. I don't know what order I'm going to do these in. I might just go like, all right, I'm starting with Azure, so we'll go forward from there. So then like the Cold Steel games, Reverie, Kuro, Sky Trilogy, and end with 0. I might go the other direction. I might just be like, all right, these are the ones I want to talk about in the order I feel like talking about them. But if you watch the cruise video, you noticed I changed shirts partway through because I said I'm going to do another video and I want to wear a special shirt. This is the special shirt. This is Rishia Mao, who's actually one of my favorite characters from the Crossbell arc. See if we can get like a nice shot of the shirt. So I actually got this last year. And it was like, oh yeah, we're doing like a thing. You can like get shirts. And I'm like, I like Trails. I'm going to get me some Trails shit. Rishia's one character I really like. Let me get a shirt of her. And I picked large as my size. Now, like, I can wear large. I can wear XL. You know, I've lost a lot of weight since. So I can definitely fit into one now. But as it turns out, the shirt was a European large, which means it's actually an American medium. So when I first got this, I could not fit into it. It was super tight. It's like my belly is just kind of like jiggling out. Even if I'm standing, like if I tried moving, it wouldn't work. I can actually kind of fit into it now. Like, it's definitely smaller than I should be wearing, I won't lie. But I was like, I was just going to put this on for the video because it's thematically appropriate. This actually kind of almost fits. I really have lost a lot of weight. I have come a long way in, this past year. That's just really nice to think about. But I just kind of want to get a bit of that out of the way. So that's kind of my general housekeeping. So what I want to do in these reviews is first just kind of give my general observations on the game as a whole. Like here's some of the things that I will be talking about, like the things I really like about the game, things I maybe kind of don't like about the game. And then, excuse me, then at that point, just kind of going in order. This is what I think of its presentation. Like, its character designs, character designs, graphics, the music, then going on to the gameplay. What do I think of its base systems, the things it added or took away from other games? Is it fun to play? If it is or isn't, how much of the game did I find to be fun or unfun? Like, at what point did I say, this went from being ass to amazing, or vice versa? And then the narrative. What do I think of the characters? What do I think of its story? Are there like themes that I really noticed in this game? What do I think of its individual setting? If I really feel like I need to talk about it, etc., etc. So, this is probably going to be a long fucking video because I wrote a lot. So, kind of starting my general observations for Trails to Azure. For me, this game is the biggest mixed bag out of any game in the Trails series. There is a part of me that looks at what this game brings, like what it has to offer. I'm like, this is a top 3 game. No question. It has like some of like the best character work in the entire series. It has some of the best boss fights in the entire series. Man, like when this game is on point, it is unmatched except for maybe like SC. Because, again, SC is like my favorite game in this series. Like, that's not as, like, it is my literally favorite video game. It's my favorite in the series. I'm like, Azure at its best is right below it, man. I'm like, I want to like give it all the credit for that. At the same time, there is also a part of me that goes, Azure is a bottom 3 game in this series. And for like a lot of my friends who might be watching this who don't play Trails do not understand how hot of a take that is. Azure is generally considered the best game in the series. If not, it's like in most people's top 2 or 3. So the fact that there is like a not small percentage of me that goes, this one's kind of low, is a very bizarre thing to say, and I have my reasons for it. And again, like, I have my reasons for also saying it's one of the best. But man, like I was saying, as some of the best character work. Yeah. And then you get to the characters that don't get that really good character work, that are severely lacking. And in a game where there's not as big of a main cast, when a character misses, it's a huge fucking miss. Like, yeah, the bosses are really fun. That's the end game. Because the early game isn't fun. And, like, I'll talk about that when I get into the gameplay. I'm like, man, they made some really interesting decisions with gameplay. Some are really good, some are really bad. There's also this, and again, I'll talk about it later, a hidden mechanic that, I'm just gonna go ahead and say the game loses 2 full points just for this mechanic. It loses a mechanic in game, like, you lose a full point in gameplay for this shit. You also lose a full point in terms of narrative for this shit. Because it's bad. I have no idea, like, I understand why it exists. I don't know why they did it the way they did it. It's, like, imagine playing a Persona game. And imagine that social links are in the game, so you're playing, like, 3, 4, or 5. The game does not tell you social links exist. The game does not give you a way of tracking how you're progressing in your social links at all. And massive amounts of character arc and development are hidden behind them. To the point where, if you don't do it for some characters, you are missing vital parts of their backstory and kind of like the end of their character arc. Because the game did not tell you this mechanic even existed. This is a real thing that Trails to Azure does, and it is bonkers that anyone thought this was a good idea. I think the only other thing I have to say about it is, like I said, there's a part of me that thinks the game is absolutely great. There's a part of me that thinks the game is an absolute mess. Both those parts of me agree that, A, the final chapter is incredible. It is so hype. There is so much good, cool shit that happens. The bosses here are really good. Just the way the story escalates is really good. The final dungeon is amazing. Both parts also agree that with all of that said, the actual ending to the game is ass. And really kind of sinks the experience, as much as I hate to say it. But with all that said, let's get started. Let's go to the presentation. Alright, so Trails to Azure's presentation. This to me is like the least contentious part of the whole game. It's a fucking banger. I think for the most part, the character designs really solid. They're transferred over from Zero, which I haven't talked about yet because I'm a weirdo. But I think they're all really good. A lot of the characters just kind of wearing uniforms. Noelle, she has a CGF, which is like their military. It's a nice uniform, and it's something that very much fits her because she is like, I am all about my city. I want to be able to protect it. So it makes sense that she would wear a uniform from the city. Kind of the same with Lloyd. He is a police officer. He's a good boy detective. So he wears just like a police uniform. Kind of the same with Dudley. He's a more by the book guy, so he just wears a uniform, nothing weird. Randy's a very low-key, kind of does his own thing, and then he wears this jacket that, like, in some artwork doesn't look like it quite fits him. Like, it's really casual, and then he has a tie for no reason. Randy's outfit looks like he just kind of threw on whatever fit well this morning and was like, yeah, I'm good, this is it. And, like, yeah, that, to me, fits Randy to a T. Like, Tio has her weird armor chest plate that she wears, which I love. Like, sometimes someone will, like, give her a hug, and then it'll dig into them, and they're like, ow, this hurts, touching you hurts. Which, given her backstory, and the fact that she went through a lot of shit when she was younger, it kind of makes sense that, yeah, like, she would wear armor. She would, even if it's something that maybe doesn't really offer a lot of protection, she's still trying to do whatever she can to protect herself and keep others at bay. And then you've got Ellie, who I would say, her outfit works. She looks like she's a, pretty relatively prim and proper, well-dressed person. I don't really remember what the hell Wazy was wearing. I think he was just kind of wearing clothes. Like, I don't really have much to say. Arios, I just remember, like, he just looked cool. Like, he had this, like, really cool, like, long jacket. I don't remember if it was quite a trench coat or if it was just a dope jacket. Or, like, he looks sick as hell, and Arios is a cool fucking dude. Like, I have no problem with that. But, like, for the most part, a lot of the designs, they just kind of, like, I get it. I can look at a character and think, yeah, I have a pretty good idea of what this person is about. And when you kind of think about it for a second, you're like, oh, okay, that actually really works. I don't think they're quite as good as they are in Sky, because I feel like the Sky designs are like, oh, yeah, you get a very good idea of what someone is like just by looking at them. But this one does a good job. I think I have said before, like, I've heard the adage that, like, oh, it's a good design if you can tell who someone is by their silhouette. And while that's not untrue, I think it's also, like, you can have a silhouette, but then it doesn't really tell you, like, what they're all about. And even then, the design might still be, like, kind of a little wonky. To me, it is just, like, can I look at this person, tell what they are all about just by looking at them? Yes. Okay. That's probably a good design. Like, that's what I really look for. Or if it's just appealing to look at. Like, it's not, I don't know, like, super weird or out there. But even then, I can like designs like that. The only design I can think of I think is weird is Belle when she's wearing her I'm a Villain outfit. But I'm not going to take any points off for it. It's just really silly. But, like, it's fine. Like, moving on to the visuals, they're not like super impressive, but I think they're solid. Like, I think the sprite work is good. I think just the look of the city is good. I don't really have much to say about it. I think I just wrote down, not impressive, but fine. And, like, you lose no points for that. I think that's something that's important to talk about. Generally, when I'm reviewing something, I am more of the mindset that you start with a perfect score, and I take points away as I go for things that bother me. But if there's things that I really, really like, I can say you can get points back for things that I really like. I think that's a fair way of kind of explaining it. So for me, it's like, yeah, I'm not giving the game a lot of points for it looking fine, but I'm not taking anything away. And then you have the OST. So, this is a Trails OST, which means it's really fucking good. And the songs in Azure don't really hit me emotionally. Like, I don't listen to them and go, like, man, I feel that. Or, like, man, this reminds me of, like, these scenes. And these scenes hit me really, really hard. Azure's soundtrack gets me hyped as hell. I mean, Getting Over the Barrier, which is technically from Zero, because that's Zero's battle theme. It's such a good workout song. Like, it's just, like, the blood gets pumping, man. And then, the super arranged version of Inevitable Struggle. That is my workout song. Like, I listen to a lot of shit when I work out. That song I can listen to, like, twice or thrice in a row, and I'm just burning calories as I go. It's so good. It's so hype. The parts where it plays in the game during the first Arios fight and during the prison break. Holy shit, those parts are amazing, and they're good. I don't want to say in spite of the music. That makes it sound like music is a problem. They're good independent of the music. The music takes them, like, all the way up to 11. So fucking good. And on top of that, you have Unfathomed Force when you're fighting. I think it also plays when you fight Campanella. But it fights when you're fighting the Steel Maiden. Incredible song. Azure Arbitrator, the final boss song. Holy shit. It is so good. It is so hype. I don't even like that fight. I'm going to be honest. I think it's fine. I remember playing it and being like, this fight's kind of annoying. But damn, the song goes hard. Is there anything else I really had to say about, or any other tracks I wanted to bring up? I just wanted to bring up the final dungeon theme, the tree at the farthest end. Not a hype song, kind of like the battle theme, which I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Seize the Truth. Neither of them are particularly hype to me. They're more emotional ambience kind of songs, because Trails will do that. There's some battle themes like, that's a banger, that's a bop. And others that are to me, almost kind of like set the mood more. I think Cold Steel 2 and Cold Steel 3 are kind of like that as well. At least for me. For other people, they might be super hype. For me, not quite, but still good, still quality. And I think Seize the Truth is solid, but not my favorite. Tree at the Farthest End, I think, does a very good job of setting in just the like mystical, ethereal nature of the Azure tree. I think it's really good. So I would say the presentation to me, it's a 5 out of 5. It gets a perfect score. I don't have any real problems with it. And I think the designs are fine. I think they're solid. I think the overall visuals are solid. Soundtrack, it's not emotional to me the way that Sky's is, which is why, I guess, spoiler, like, Sky will get extra points. It kind of breaks the scale in some of these areas. Crossbell doesn't, but it gets full marks because holy crap.